Where'd it go?
Hello, I'm Michael.
And I'm Grace.
And we're California Travel Videos. And welcome back, everybody. I should say welcome us. We've been gone for a week. We've been out in the bush and been to 3 different exciting places where we thawed out, as Californians like to do when they want to get even a little warmer, heading towards the great state of Nevada and a touch of Arizona. Grace, do you want to start it off?
Start off our trip?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about where we went, where you wanted to have a getaway for our sojourn.
Well, for several years now, I've always wanted to go to the Valley of Fire and be able to stay for a while, because I've been there probably 3 times during the day for short periods of time, but I wanted to be there at night and in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we achieved Valley of Fire, we achieved Red Rock, California, and we achieved serendipitously over there by Lake Mead and Hoover Dam a wonderful bike trail. Woohoo!
Sometimes to get from point A to point B, it may only be inches. It may be only a couple miles, but sometimes you have to drive 200 miles to get there. So therein lies a story about the difference between, on one hand, Fahrenheit, and the other hand, centigrade. So, we thought, let's go up to Zion. We were going to go to see Mount Zion when we finished up our around the United States in 90 days. But once we got to Bryce, we heard about the fires in California. We thought, we better not push our luck. We better start coming home. We had been to Zion once before, just for a day. And we thought, that's not due diligence. We need to get back for more. But we looked on the cell phone and it said that the temperatures looked like they were down even less than the teens, in the single digits. And so we scrubbed that once we got up to the tip of Utah, and it looked like, if the temperatures are going to be that cold, we're just going to go to a Cracker Barrel and have a great meal, and we're going to turn around and head right back again to Arizona. You want to embellish that at all, Grace?
Well, that was, again, serendipitously. I want to take a minute and say hi to Joni's Journey.
Hey, Joni's Journey.
On your hike, wasn't she, Michael?
Yeah, and I'm wondering where she is today. I know she's been doing great things to help out Box Van D. So, and thank you so much for getting her going on the internet with your family plan. That was very generous of you. And I wonder where you're at these days. We'd love to hear about your sojourns.
Definitely a community.
What's that?
It is definitely a community.
It is definitely a community. Yes, it is. Yeah. So, Grace, you, I guess, your cell phone, somehow it got, we do these upgrades and everything. Who knows what it is?
Oh,
you hit a button, you're not looking, and you think you're on Fahrenheit and it's centigrade. And we thought, well, it's too cold if it's down in single digits. The single digits of centigrade is actually, I don't know, 10, maybe 20 degrees above freezing. In other words, the 40s, which is okay. We can handle the 40s, can't we? Or 50s.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what had happened is I added Zion National Park, and in doing so, I accidentally hit the Canadian way of measuring the temperature. So we saw snow up on the hill. So Michael said we should probably check the weather before we get up there. What town were we in about that time?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. About halfway up there, maybe more, going from Arizona, heading to Utah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked at the temperature and I said, oh, no, it's only 9 degrees. We were like, yeah, we're not going up on that snowy mountain. So we ate at the Cracker Barrel, had a wonderful, fantastic lunch for, what was it, like $22?
$22. And we had a lot of food we had to take back with us. It's like, man.
Yeah,
they know how to fill you up.
Yeah, I cheated that day. So,
you did. You had your carbs. Even though you have your keto diet, you kind of said, okay, you'll make up for it on the bike ride later on in the trip, which we'll tell them about.
Exactly. So is it Joni or Johnny? How do I say
Joni,
Johnny's
I think.
journey? Is
Oh,
it Joni?
Johnny's journey. I've always said Joni's, but I think it
I
is
think it's Joni.
Jonn. Joni. Yeah,
Yeah,
Joni's journey.
she's in St. Louis again, and she's
Uh,
going to hit the road full time in April.
It's so funny you mentioned that too, because Grace was just talking about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. I know we were coming back, but remember you talked about wanting to go to St. Louis? Talked about the Arch.
Oh yeah, because that's a national park.
I didn't. It's actually considered a national
It's
park, is it?
considered a national park. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She says
Yeah.
she is named after her father, Johnny with an H. So it's Johnny's journey, and I love that.
I thought
Yeah.
that's what you said. Yeah. Okay.
So she's Johnny's angel.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So it definitely worked out perfectly, though. I have a way of believing that wherever you go, there you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And ironically, when we first left Petaluma to go on our trip, it was kind of a spontaneous trip. And so we were throwing things in the RV last minute. And on the counter, I picked up a Rails to Trails magazine we had just gotten. And I thought maybe I could flip through the pages. And so I took it, and we're sitting there. God, where were we at the time? Valley of Fire. Yeah. Within the first day or two. And I see this trail that's 36 miles by Lake Mead up by Hoover Dam in Las Vegas. And we were like right there. So when Zion didn't work out, we said, you know what? I know exactly where we're going. And we went there, and we got the expensive place to stay in the whole park. It must have been the most expensive $10 we ever spent. Yeah. So everything worked out serendipitously.
But
so,
this is the first time we really have done a 100% boondocking, so to speak. In others, we didn't have hookups at any rate. We decided, we're going to just try doing it with our solar and our battery packs, and seemed like it worked out pretty good. Did you think, Grace? Do you feel like you were roughing it too much?
No, it was absolutely fabulous. I mean, we were a little bit worried about my coffee maker. I have a small coffee maker, and it was the first time that we did purely solar, no hookup at all. And the coffee pot took up 5% of the 100%. Was that about right?
Like
it's a small pot.
Yeah, like you, about 50 to 100 watts, no more than 100 of our 1,000. Well, we actually have two 1,000 watts, but so you didn't use much at all.
Yeah, so that worked out. And we really didn't need the heater on at any point. As far as lighting, the Coach batteries were fantastic. As far as cooking, I had the propane. When I needed the microwave, I started the generator. So the very last night, we stayed in a ghost town. And
Calico.
We did have an opportunity to get full hookups for just $5 more, but we opted to save our $5 because we'd gotten used to being off grid, and we really didn't need it.
Yeah, it is one of those where it was just all, like you said, kind of serendipity. And we've got a new, what do you call it, magnetized logo for California Travel Videos that we've put on the front of our RV. And why did we put it there, Grace?
Well, we put it there because apparently when I got it as a surprise for Michael, I thought it would stick toward the side or the back of the RV.
Beautiful place.
Is aluminum, apparently?
No, it's all just kind of fiberglass.
Or a fiberglass, whatever it is, but the magnet did not stick to it. So the only place it sticks is to the hood of the front of the RV. And I was a little bit worried that we were going to be eating bugs the entire trip, but it did turn out too bad.
Yeah, we have a lot of, I kept telling Grace as we were going down towards Southern California through Central California, it's like, those aren't oranges. Oranges are in, the East Coast. You see them in Florida. And later on, she made me swallow my words on that. But then, I think by the almond trees or whatever it was down there further, there's a lot of bugs that are around that area. And then the birds like them. So, we had our fill of roughage, didn't we, on our windshield?
Yeah, beautiful Central California. It was a wonderful, wonderful getaway, exactly what we needed. And so I see Kenneth is here with us. Welcome, Kenneth.
Hey, Kenneth, good to have you here. And that was a lot of fun to work with him on the PowerPoint presentation. Kenneth, did you get a chance to show any of that for the good work you've done? It was great to work with you. He's interested in, you guessed it, doing maintenance, both preventive and corrective maintenance on automobiles. And who knows, maybe some light work on RVs for us also. But
Nice.
in his class, they're having him learn how to do presentations. So he was really getting into PowerPoint with me the other day.
Okay, that's one I'm not as familiar with. I thought you guys were working on Photoshop.
Oh, no, not Photoshop. No, we were doing PowerPoint presentations.
So you'll notice here behind us is the sky. The day that we were going to go into Valley of Fire, when we got down there, after going to Red Rock in California, when we got down to Valley of Fire, it was about 5:30, maybe 5 in the evening. The park had just closed down and the gates were closed, and it said full. And we were a little apprehensive because we've heard before that sometimes they'll just put full even when it's not. But we had seen some boondocking up at the top of the hill, and we decided to go back and try the boondocking site for the night. And I'm really happy we did, because I think that Valley of Fire, I had always assumed that it got its name because of the red rocks. But upon seeing that sunset, and when I went to develop the pictures,
oh yeah,
develop the pictures. How old are you? Anyway, when I went to go, how would you say? Edit
them in Lightroom, yeah.
Yeah, review the pictures. But there were these bursts of orange with the sunset. And I think that's really where the Valley of Fire, because if you look behind us, the sun just looks like it's on fire. It's absolutely breathtaking. And it was the most spectacular sunset. And then the next morning, we got some drone footage. Yeah,
because I guess it was Ray from help me, Van Life Rocks. And so he was saying when he was there, no drones. And so sure enough, when we got right up by the grates, it says no drone zone or something like that. And it's like, oh, shucks. Okay. But yeah, we were able to fly outside of the state park.
Yeah, it worked out. Well, like I said, everything literally worked out exactly the way that it was supposed to, as far as I'm concerned. It's like there's no way in heck that we could have planned it better.
Mm-hmm. So that was about, we decided we'd stay up to 3 days worth, and 3 days worth was just about perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and then one part that was really super awesome is day 2. We'd gone on a good hike day 1, and then day 1 that we were in there? Anyway, one of the days we were in there, all of a sudden the sky turned dark and the heavens opened up, and the storm, what was it? Torrential rains of some sort.
It was like a tropical rain. I to me, like when I was down in Tucson living there for a couple of years, we call it the monsoons, because they would, come by the bucket full for an hour or two and then they would just be gone.
Yeah, it poured. I'm going to see if I can do a quick share. Let's see here which one I want to go to. I don't know if it'll let me.
And I wonder for Joni, if she's still here, or Johnny is still here, or Kenneth, how's your weather out that way? I know we've been hearing about all those horrific snowstorms, and I've got a feeling you've got some white stuff out in your neck of the woods out there. Let us know what's going on.
Okay, so going to the fire. Can you see it?
Yes, we can. I'm trying to think. Okay. Oh, you lost it. There it is. But one of the keys in Lightroom, I think it's the F key. Isn't that what makes it full screen?
Is that Control F?
No, just F.
Okay.
Hey, how about that? It worked. God, I haven't done that in 2 years. I'm surprised I could remember that key.
Yeah, but then I can't see. How do I get out of it now? F again?
I think so, or else you probably just hit escape or something. I see now down in the screen it says something.
Somehow I made it larger. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to zoom in. I'm
not quite sure. But anyway, you can see that we were just surrounded in amazing beauty. This is where our RV was. Oops, that wasn't the F key. Let's see.
Can't you just hit the right arrow and left arrow?
That's what I was trying to do, but it won't do anything.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a good picture anyway. It has a good illustration of beautiful blue skies. And we were nestled right in there in spot number, was it 16?
Yeah, Sweet 16.
So what happened was we had, as usual, didn't make reservations ahead of time, but we learned not to come in there at Saturday afternoon too late. So we knew that it was a holiday weekend with the President's Day coming up. And so we thought, well, we'll get in there earlier Friday. And sure enough, there was one spot that had opened, and there was somebody else said, hey, we got 2 spots. People are leaving and heading back. I can't remember where it was, somewhere in Nevada where they were from nearby. And so, yeah, there were several openings that came up that day, thank goodness. But the sandstone formations and others there are just striking. And as most places for photography, earlier the later the day is better than midday when it can be more washed out. But even midday was okay.
Yeah, it was without a doubt. It was so beautiful. Let me get this off the screen here. There we go. Yeah, so it was awesome.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about reservations, in fact, campsite considerations. So that's part of the show. And then also what's new in fuel prices, in RV parks, and do's and don'ts. We've got, I think, a good show today. So should we go ahead and begin, honey?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, I think I'll go ahead and can I have control of the screen for now?
I don't know if it's going to let you. Hold on, because I started it. So.
Oh, it should. It should, but maybe not. I don't know. So let's see.
I started it. I can leave the studio and come back in.
I'm not sure if that'll terminate it or not, but let's just go. It won't terminate. There I am. Okay. So, I'm going to go to another one of my computers here, if all works well. Okay, that seems to have done so far so good. And it looks like the text is facing the right way, which is always good news. And if I just reduce myself so that I'm not quite so big on the screen, and let's see, I'm on still the A camera.
Can you go in the other corner?
That. Zoop. And I'm still that camera. Yes. Okay, I think we've got it. Welcome back, Grace.
Thank you.
Okay, so first up, reservations. As somebody once said when they're going into a dinner, the maitre d', do you have reservations? No, but I'll eat here anyway. So regarding reservations,
I thought it was yes, but I'll eat here anyway.
Yes, I do have reservations, but I'll eat here anyway. So yeah, obviously, if you can get your reservations ahead of time, weeks or months ahead of time, some of the places let you get up to 6 months ahead of time. And I know some people are tempted to say, well, I'll get a bunch of reservations. I'll cancel all but one. And some of the like Reserve American, some of them are like, no, not so much. It will give you another week, maybe, but more than a couple months ahead, they start to restrict it. Now, Reserve California is something like that, but a little different configuration. So just be aware when you make your reservations, if it's one that's really popular, if you can get it ahead of time and look at their terms and conditions for their refunds and date changes and that sort of thing. So if you're going somewhere really popular, it may be that you try like the max amount of time, 3 or 6 months, whatever the system is, and it just doesn't seem to be available. And I'll say, welcome to the club. If somebody is 71 years old, I cannot get my COVID shot. I don't know, they seem to be all gobbled up. But you have to be patient. But then there is this thing about the bots. And I don't know if you've seen some of the people talk about the systems, but I saw just recently RV Odd Couple, they've talked about some of the systems out there where the system will keep, if you want a certain date, you pay $10 or whatever for a charge, and it'll keep checking. And as soon as one comes open, it'll grab it. So those are pretty hard to beat when that happens. So I don't know if the systems will eventually, I should say the owners of the systems will eventually stop this gaming. But right now, that is a consideration if you got to have a certain place. So something to be aware of. Grace, you ready for me to go on to the next item?
All righty.
Okay, demand. So yeah, obviously holidays, seasonal demand. Certainly Florida in this wintertime is very popular. And out here in California, our beaches, East Coast also in the summertime during this when school is out. But right now, most schools are out, except, of course, they're doing the Zoom thing. But then if there's certain things going in the area, if it's a racetrack or something people are going to, or, something for a celebration for a certain city or state, or, other types of venues, will affect the demand that you may want to consider working around. Prices and amenities. Yeah, if you want to pay more for something at the high end, then yeah, maybe so. Maybe you'll be lucky with that. And if you don't mind paying a premium, go into the KOA campground, even if you don't have kids and don't need it. On the other hand, sometimes those high value sites are sold out. You just have to see, maybe get one at the other end. The best sites, ones with the views, the conveniences, the hookups, those types of things are obviously a lot better than if you don't have a good view. You're in the sun. Well, you might want to be in the sun if you get solar charged up. If it's the middle of summertime and it's 110 degrees outside, that is not going to come out ahead. We find this is one important for us is we do not like to get ones that are too unlevel. We do not have a hydraulic system, but we can go up, I guess 6 inches anyway on our leveling blocks. If you got something that's out of order, Grace, and we had something that was out of order, you want to tell them about that?
We had something out of order on our most recent trip?
Yeah, when we got to Calico, remember about the showers that were supposed to be there?
Oh, well, thank God it was our last day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were not working, the showers.
Yeah, I mean, when you pay for these things and they don't tell you about it, it is disappointing. We didn't have any problems with the noise that I considered an issue. Well, we're sound sleepers. Maybe our snoring bothers some people. I hope not. But yeah.
What? You never told me I snored before. What's this?
Well, I meant me. I was talking about me.
Oh, okay.
My snoring echoes and wakes me up, honey.
Well, I like the vibration of the motorhome.
There you go.
I want to take a minute and welcome Simple Life Big Adventures from Tennessee. And I was telling them how I want to visit one of their waterfalls that they have there, Cummings, and they have a video on it. So definitely, if you want to add that in the links on the comments, we'd love to check that out. But I will follow up with you later and check that out as well.
Yeah, we love to see the waterfalls. Grace loves to see the butterflies, those types of things. And
I like all the girly stuff.
All the girly stuff and some of the boy stuff too. I mean, you were a good camper when it comes to the bike ride. We'll tell about our 46-mile bike ride in a little bit.
36 miles, but thanks.
36. I keep on wanting to exaggerate. I feel like I want to be in Texas except for their snowstorms.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, if you want good neighbors, obviously. You don't want to have a spot where you have to worry about crime or theft or those types of things. So, those are things when we think about the amenities or the lack therein. Number 4, location, just like real estate is that, if you're going to be, let's say it's 1,000 trails or Camp Coast to Coast or something, they may not be that close to the city. Is why they have better value for the price. If you want to be near the city, well, take us, for instance. We in Petaluma, California, we are a good 35 miles just to the Golden Gate Bridge, not to downtown San Francisco. And what is the KOA campground here called? It's called the San Francisco KOA campground. No, we're a county away. When we were in Washington, D.C. area, that was the Washington, D.C. KOA. Here again, it was about 35 miles away. Yeah. So sometimes they exaggerate a little bit. So if you want to be close to the city, obviously, the closer you get, the more you pay for that. Oh, but definitely. Some of you, right, they have secret sites. So do we have any secret sites we can't tell them about, Grace?
We just, like I said, we ended up at the most terrific places and the rates that we paid. But I think a lot of times it's, what value is in it for you? When we stayed in Nashville, that was right there in Nashville. And so was San Antonio. I mean, we were just a couple miles away from both of those. And I don't think they were extraordinary prices. But I guess those aren't probably the biggest cities either.
Right. So yeah, it's just considerations you have. And then regarding the value, sometimes people like stay for a week, get a little better price, stay for a month, stay long term. when we were at the last part of our trip, well, next to the last place, we were for a couple of days there at Lake Mead. I want to say Lake Powell, Lake Mead, right there where the Hoover Dam is in that area. And there were two camp facilities. One was for the full hookups, and that was fine. But we thought, with our power taking care of power, if we can just get a little water from time to time, that's all we really need. They had restrooms there, which we always enjoy. And so, we were just fine going on a day-to-day basis. And the price was $20 a night because it was a national facility. And if you're 65 plus, one of us is, Grace.
Yeah,
so that was $10 a night.
Right.
Couldn't beat it. It's almost worth being married to me, isn't it, Grace?
Almost. It's it was the very first national recreation area.
That's right. It was the number one national recreational area. Is that right?
Yeah, Lake Mead, when they built the Hoover Dam in the Lake Mead area, they declared it a national recreation area. So because it's got the national, whether it's national park, national forest, national recreation, those with the senior pass, the gold card, get a 50% discount off the amazing whopping $20 price tag. So we paid $10 to be there every night. And it just can't beat it. Michael and I were talking today that our electric bill is more than $10 a day when we're here. So it was really a steal.
You can't afford to stay home.
I know.
But yeah, I think that was Lyndon Johnson was the one who started that concept of the recreational area. And we were very happy. The temperatures were beautiful down there. The place was so clean. Every time after somebody left a site, there's one of the employees, well, I guess probably was a work camper, came in and vacuumed it. Well, actually used a leaf blower. You couldn't hear it. I've never seen one like that. You couldn't hear it. And then he raked the dirt area there. It was like pristine. Anyway, great place. We highly recommend it. So we share our favorites. And if you ever have any questions about the places we've stayed, feel free to drop us a line. We'd love to share our thoughts on the journey.
And for those of you that enjoy bike riding, there is a phenomenal trail, 36 miles long. There is quite a bit of an incline. Michael and I went counterclockwise. We're going to have a video out on that, as well as Red Rock and Valley of Fire. So those will be coming out. I'll be doing the slave driving, getting Michael in the editing room and whipping the whip. Get those videos out. Get those videos out.
Was that Boulder Beach Circle or something like that?
Boulder Beach. The loop is called the Mountain River Loop.
Okay, Mountain River Loop. There, you've got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we highly recommend it, but it does have a substantial amount of hills. So we have our e-bikes. I think it's about a 500 watt battery on a 750 watt motor. It is regenerative, thank goodness. When you go downhill, it charges some of it back up. And I had half my battery left after 36 miles. And Grace, you had still 2 bars out of 5, didn't you?
I did. I was really proud of myself. I did not throttle the entire way. I did actually have to get off my bike and push it up a few of the hills because I couldn't, even on full throttle, it was just too steep. So yeah, it was pretty intense, but we did it. So I'm proud of us.
Yeah. So back to number 5 again then. So, consider the membership if you want a membership, then, there's membership classes, of course, for some of them, depending upon how big you want to go. If you want 1,000 trails or up to Encore, Camp Coast to Coast / Good Sam. And we do have a Passport America. We've used it very few times, but if you only use it once, it pays for itself, considering you get half off. We are members of the Escapees, and we like getting to the annual rallies with them. The Elks Club, we've used quite a few times. Didn't use it this trip, but they certainly are very good. And you get the fellowship there also, although maybe more with the Elks than it is with the RVers, but both. And then we talked about the senior discounts. So, And then the affordability, certainly some of the state and county and city can be good. Or if you want to go the private route, we've done a lot of those also. If you want more amenities, the full hookups and the like. So boondocking, Grace, this was our first time we boondocked. How did you feel about the way it went for us?
Well, I was a little apprehensive. I would say the only thing I can't really write home about would be the roads that take you to the boondock, because obviously you get what you pay for. You're paying for nothing, so they're not really paved. So you really kind of have to take them slow when you've got the bigger rigs. But where we actually ended up, and it was really nice with living in 2021 that you're not right on top of each other at these sites. So we had plenty of space all to ourselves. And again, this is where the sunset was. And it was really spectacular. I liked it a lot. If that's an indication of what boondocking is, I am ready to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of it, I guess, not classic boondocking, but staying at a Cracker Barrel, Cabela's, Bass Pro, as I did when I went on my way down to Quartzsite. We haven't done a lot of Walmarts. We have on our last trip around the United States a couple times.
That's rough though, because you really can't open up, and we've got our slider.
No. Yeah.
That's when you wake up with seatbelt up your back at itis.
But we found a way that we can do it. We have a 25-foot Class C, and the slider is a whopping 12 feet long, which allows us to fold out a bed, air mattresses. Gosh, it must be 9 inches thick, and it's very, very comfortable. But obviously we don't do that when we're boondocking. So but we do have with some other air mattresses now. We've figured that part out. So yeah, if you got a workaround plan, that's okay. If you don't need to open up a slider, that's great. And there's a lot of different options I've got down there on the list that you can consider. I'd be curious if any of you have any thoughts. Let us know. So
something that we didn't mention.
Simple Life Big Adventure saying we love getting out on the bikes. Yeah, we do too. There's something to be said. We've always enjoyed walking, going hiking, but you're, I guess, 3 miles an hour or whatever walking pace. You can't walk really at 5 unless you're really pushing it. But if you're on a bike, you can go 8 to 12, maybe 15 miles an hour, maybe up to 20 if you're going downhill. So yeah, it's nice to cover just a little bit more ground, a little bit faster. And so we've really enjoyed wherever we can to get out on our bikes. We've decided that that's part of our channel. That is part of our brand, is to be able to get out there on our bikes and share photos and videos as we go along the way.
Right. And we are big fans of Rails to Trails. So if you haven't looked them up yet or joined and become a member, they're growing all the time. And I've got good faith that the Department of Transportation is going to be helping to fund those trails. So
Grace's buddy, Pete Buttigieg.
I called him today. He said he would.
Oh, sure you did. No, but on this trip we went on when we were going there at Lake Mead, and it took us, I thought for a while we're going to hit the casinos in Las Vegas because we were getting within about 5-10 miles of it.
Yeah, we when we were on the freeway, we literally were right on top of them.
We were kissing the outskirts, yes.
Yeah,
right.
the only thing I would say that made my heart do a little pitter patter and a little boohoo is when I saw the love sign for the Beatles up. And I've seen it twice already, and I can't wait to see it a third time. I probably would see it 100 times if I could afford to. But other than that, I was happy in the boonies.
Grace, come on in. That
was easy.
It's easy.
No, not now.
No, but we did find that, the biking was a lot of fun. And so I'm glad you enjoyed that. We do too. So next up, number 7, the nature of your rig. Bigger rigs, of course, can't get them in some of the state or national campgrounds. But then, if you're going to some places like the private parks, they might say, yeah, come on down. That's what we want. In some of these smaller rigs, it's like, really? What are you doing here? And some of them, if you're more than 10 years older or they don't look attractive, I guess they might say, you need to go somewhere else or put in the back lot. So there's a place for everybody and everybody in their place, but just something to be aware of. And we have done number 8 more than we'd like to profess. Roll your dice, try the first come, first serve. And
it works.
We've had very good luck with that. So I wouldn't suggest doing it at, the Yosemite in the middle of summertime or something, right, or a holiday weekend, and coming in on a Saturday late afternoon. Although we've done that at Shenandoah and we got lucky there. But yeah, if you feel like
That
you just
wasn't
want to
luck,
go,
honey.
some of them are just only first come, first serve. So if
That
that works
wasn't
for
luck,
you,
honey.
what's that?
That wasn't luck.
No, it was Grace's negotiation skills. I will retract that statement. Okay, number 9, hang loose, be on the standby, be nice, tell stories, jokes, entertain the camp host, ask the ranger for ideas. And that's close to what Grace did there, number 9, wasn't it?
That's, yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah,
number
have
10,
buddies. It helps to have good friends in high places.
yes, it does. Number 10, if worst comes to worst, consider day use with a plan B, staying overnight somewhere else, going in for the day. And we have done that a little bit. I think we've gone someplace and say, well, if we can't get an overnight, no big deal. We'll just come in for the day and check it out and wing it. Maybe it'll be open another day. And of course, your apps, or going to the websites, All Stays, Compendium, RV Village, which now is combined with To Go and Road Trippers, are all kind of one. Or the other, RV Trip Wizard, or, going to, if you're a state campground or national, Reserve America. And some people, the boondockers, they just like to take a look at the BLM land and get the Google Earth view or satellite views out there and say, yeah, I see where there's some spots where other people have stayed there. It must be pretty flat and easy to get in. Or Free Campsites Net. So anything else that you think of, Grace, that we've used other than like maybe going on YouTube or whatever? What's that?
I actually do have a secret, and I'll share that here in just a moment. I do want to say
Okay.
that Simple Life says that the beauty of their rig is that it's a van. And they have enjoyed building the inside based on what they needed, having it personalized, which I totally agree with. And they've never had any issue parking or camping.
Yeah,
or
and now that they say that, excuse me, Grace.
Or shopping for groceries.
Sorry. Yeah, I do remember their videos now, and that is really cool. We were looking to get a Class C. We were going to get a Sprinter, and Grace thought, please, can we get just a little bit more room? We've got this big Siberian Husky and so on and so forth. And so, yeah, everything has its trade-offs. But, we take a look at some people out there that are Van City Van Life. I love Chrome, him and his dog there. They're minimalists. And so, yeah, if you're more can work in a small area, it certainly gives you more mobility and more options. And it's a great way to go if it works for you.
Yeah, I could see it if we didn't have that 80-pound dog.
Yeah.
But for the time being, we've got our fur baby. So for my secret, which isn't up here, Michael, and I use it frequently. Wherever we go, I have no idea sometimes where we even are. And I'll just pick up my iPhone and I'll say, hey, Siri, where am I? And in fact, here, I'll demonstrate for you. Actually, I won't. Exactly where I am. But anyway, so you just say, hey, Siri, where am I? And she will pop up and tell you an address of where you're located. And with that, then there's a drop down and you can look for gas stations or food or camping or attractions or bicycle paths. And I do all that. I think that the most frequent thing that I use to find anything is Siri. And then we'll get some of the other apps.
Google can do it also. Yeah. Google Around Me or the Around Me application as well. Yeah.
I like the Siri.
That's a great way. Yeah. However, it's quicker is what Grace likes. She's like the quick bunny. Number 12. Yeah. There are some places, California is now getting less restrictions. I think all the state campgrounds are pretty much open. The stealth camping. And I love the fact that I was just noticing this last week that Alabama has added 4 new parks. California, we don't add new parks, hardly ever even add a site to a park. It's frustrating. But yeah, they have in Alabama, and some of the states are doing it. And I got to think that in this year and future years, with all the demand, we're going to hopefully get some more coming up in most all states. So, okay, that brings us next to travel news. First of all, on the lighter side, Grace, you want to read this one? You want me to?
I can read that.
Okay.
All righty. So let's get me. Actually, I can't read it when it's like that. Tom Hart passed along his new item from mcall.com /news. A North Carolina sheriff office is giving people a chance to show their former lovers they still are wanted by turning them in if they have outstanding warrants.
Whoa!
Nice.
What kind of love
Go to
thing is
jail
this?
for the day. The Nash County Sheriff Office is offering what it calls Valentine Day Weekend Special, which it described as a special too sweet to pass up on. Included in the offer is a set of limited edition platinum bracelets, free
i.e. handcuffs?
free transportation with the chauffeur, and one night behind Michael's head. One night minimum stay in our luxurious 5-star accommodations. Can we go up? Scroll that screen. Along with a special Valentine's Day dinner. Operators are standing by, says the post on the Sheriff's Department Facebook page.
Operators are standing by. That's a big...
You didn't buy that for me? Where was this at? Where was this at?
Let's see. It says at the top of it there. And this is in North Carolina.
Ooh, honey.
They're very creative.
We'll go back there next year. I don't know for Valentine's Day. It might be kind of cold.
I'll stay 1 foot on the border. That's a good one anyway. I thought that was pretty cute for Valentine's Day. We're sorry we weren't here that week to join you, but we were on the road. But we weren't doing the chain gang. I can guarantee you that. Right.
We were celebrating the holiday.
Okay, let's go back to camping. I'll take the next one. There was in RV News, I guess it was, that they asked for campsite considerations. Somebody said, crowded camping isn't a concern to me. What it does is tries to find, as we said earlier, find places that are further away from attractions. It's easier to find room. Crowded camping, oops, I got a little bit too far there, aren't a deterrent. I find the places that are off the beaten path. National Forest doesn't need hookups, deters other people. So yeah, if you find places with less of a demand, as we talked earlier, you're more likely to get it even with this 35-foot plus RVs. And searching online, using all stays, Google to get a bird's eye view, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that's a good tip. That's got some good ideas. And planning is obviously very important for some of you. We spoke about that. And if you need to, you might lower your expectations if there are places that are crowded. Do some of those things we spoke about as alternative. Somebody said, another person said, 1,000 trails, more like 0 trails. They said they've had, Barbara W. had problems getting into even some of the expensive ones, such as Encore. So here again, it's supply and demand. Other people have said they have not had problems. So your mileage may vary.
Well, Michael and I kind of talked about some of the campgrounds for us as well. And I think a lot of the 1,000 trails are for people looking to be entertained rather than find their own entertainment. And we could be wrong because we haven't really experienced it. If you've experienced something different, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we're not saying that it has to be this way, but like this person Wonder says, I'm curious how many of the empty park people are seeing right now are charging $40 a night, end up still being besides the railroad track or only having 14-foot wide spaces, and how there's no problem crowd will fare when it comes to Labor Day or other holidays. Good point. So supply and demand is certainly the name of the game. Bob P., in my opinion, it's a matter of preferences if there's a campground shortage. So yeah, if you need the resort with all the goodies, you might either have to pay the price or else, kind of ratchet your expectations down.
Oh, I want to read this one.
You want to do the camp host? Go ahead.
Yeah, that one says camp host. Well, I guess I can't with it small. Imperative to make reservations. Carol H. I am a camp host outside of Yellowstone National Park during the summer, and we are experiencing an overwhelming amount of reservations for 2021. We have about 85 sites and are already sold out for July 3rd and 4th and only have a few sites available for the rest of the summer.
The rest of the summer.
And then scroll down, she said, I think with the virus going, stronger. If folks have plans to RV this summer, it's imperative to make reservations. As long as I camp host, I don't worry
about a place to stay.
Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
one workaround, isn't it?
Yeah, but we talked about the camp host. I think if we get out and do it more frequently, or maybe ever go full time, we may find ourselves doing a little bit of camp hosting. But for Michael and I, our average stay time is 3-4 days, and we're ready to roll.
Yeah. In fact, on this note, watch Steve Turtle if you don't already. We love him, and he'll go like page 2. But no, he does a lot of it. He and his wife Jill, I think, and really a fun guy, and he knows the ins and outs. I could see us doing it for maybe a month. I don't think I'd want a 3-month assignment with 36-hour work week. That sounds too much like a job. But yeah, if you wanted to be someplace and you really like people, that might be just the thing for you. We've seen a lot of really great camp hosts, haven't we, Grace?
Oh, we have. We met some wonderful people. Simple Life says, yes, we go to a campground for the surrounding locations as our entertainment. We do not need as many options as Thousand Trails offer.
And is that a great point? You know, some people love all the bells and whistles and the amenities, and some of us, it's like, we're okay with the nature. And oh yeah, the people. We like the people. And we've met some great people along the way. When we were taking Kaliki for a morning walk before we went out on the bikes, we thought, well, we'll go down to Lake Mead and let him take a dip in the water. And we see somebody riding a bike. We thought he was a local. It wasn't. And Grace, tell us about who we met.
That was Dallas, and Dallas is also a YouTuber. Didn't he have a GoPro on his helmet? I think that might have been a dead giveaway.
I didn't notice, but he did talk about that he has drones and all the other gear in a van too. He's a van kind of guy. I'm sorry. He had a box van.
He had a bread truck that he was converting.
A bread truck, yeah.
And he's got a channel, Tendo, Tendo. And he and his significant other go around the country to thrift stores. And they probably resell their finds, but that sounds fun and exciting. So we got to chat with him. We also met a lovely couple when we were in Valley of Fire that were parked next to us in their Airstream. And they were wonderful people that we met. So it's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nintendo had here we're saying, well, it's now that we have 850 subscribers, things are a little easier for us. And he said, yeah, he didn't even say it, I think. But Grace looked later and he has over 10,000 subs himself. So you never know who you meet out there. Yeah,
he is in social media for his business. So before he even started his channel, he said he had some ideas of what to do. So that definitely gave him a good plus.
But yeah, so you're right there, Simple Life. We really agree with you. It's wonderful to have where you can learn from that. And in fact, I guess we should maybe, I don't know why I haven't been thinking about this, but if you want to come on and join us, here is the URL. So if you want to jump on in, we'll be happy to have you kind of kibitz with us as we go through the show here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these. But if you just want to chat, that's okay too.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
You have the propane news, and that was a yikes because that is going up.
Yeah, so 70% increase. Now, some of the smart money, they knew about that the price increases were coming up last year, the farmers and the like, so they got and stocked up what they could, filled up their big, multi-100-gallon tanks. But yeah, it's not just in certain states, it's worldwide. Saudi Arabia has been increasing the prices of gas, and with the less demand for gas in the United States, double whammy, because byproduct of gas is the propane gas, different level on the refinery, probably up higher in the stack, diesel here, gasoline there, white gas higher, propane higher. So yeah, at any rate, between those and the demand with the cold weather, it's gone up 70% so far. So Grace, I don't think I told you this, but where we get our propane here in town, you get like a reward coupon. You get they put a stamp on it when you get all 10 filled.
Yeah, we talked about it. Have we filled 10 yet?
That's right. Let me finish. So once you get the 10 filled, as I did, they give you an extra 5 gallons free. And also was all I needed was 5 gallons. And I thought we get down to 3/4. And well, why don't you go ahead and fill it up? And so the last fill up was free. I don't know what it would have cost us, but it was nice that it was free.
Nice.
But
So
we don't use a lot, unless it's real cold, we don't really need to like start a furnace. So we're fairly well insulated with our Reflectix and so on and so forth. So yeah, we use it just a little bit for cooking and running the generator for our microwave. Otherwise we just are using our solar pretty much. So let's go into diesel. Diesel owners also better buckle up. So 14th week straight rise of diesel fuel prices for folks like us. We're glad we get 15 to 17 miles to the gallon, maybe 17 miles a gallon only if we're on a straight stretch where it's flat. But yeah, it's 14 straight weeks now. So, but the biggest in 17 months just came up. So 5.2 cents increase. So we were paying about $2.75 for diesel when we were in Nevada. And it says now diesel is as low as $2.56 in the Gulf Coast region. California, $3.55. Well, I wish. I think it's about $3.75 to over $4 in the Bay Area here. So that's the California national average. So
it was about $3.50 in Central California. So we definitely tried to get as much diesel as we could before we came back into California, but it wasn't quite enough to bring us all the way north.
That's right. We took that diesel fuel in Bakersfield and, we washed with it. We gargled with it. And
oh, we should have put some in a reserve bucket.
We should have, as long as it doesn't catch fire.
$1 a gallon, 10 gallons, you'd save $10.
$10, yeah, if it doesn't catch fire.
That's a little fire.
Right. It was a little fire hurt, yeah. Okay, in other news, Family Motor Coach Association, FMCA, and we saw some of those bigger RVs where they have those nice round placards on them. And it's sort of like the Airstreamers, they have those red numbers at the top, the 5-digit numbers. Oh, I'm sorry, Grace, go ahead and finish it.
No, that's what I was saying. On the motor
I know what you were going to say.
No,
you learned something from my mother.
No, I was just going to say that it's like the Airstreamers of yesteryear, where they have a number and then they have like a club, so you know who's who.
Yes, they do. So you can say, oh, that's number 148285. That's the Nisslers there from, their California travel videos. So anyway, they're offering a discount for their new members. They have 150,000 members, and it's now, I guess, $65 or $70, 30% discount for new members right now. Which brings us to, one of the places in California that is a little encouraging up by the ocean down middle of California by San Luis Obispo. This is the Oceana Dunes State Vehicular Recreational Area. And I know some of the locals there are saying, we don't like the off-road vehicles so much. They make a lot of noise, but I guess they're still allowed in. But for the standpoint of our RVers, they do have 100 campsites that are now open right there on the ocean down by Pismo Beach. So that's nice. And Grace, remember we stayed about 5-6 miles south of there? I think
Pismo Beach?
Yeah, I think we stayed at Oceana, wasn't it? Right next to that.
I don't think it was Oceana. I know it was right by where the butterflies were.
Yeah, but I remember we went by this spot and we took our dog for a run that area. But anyway, it's a nice area and it's just a big sandy beach there.
Yeah, and then they do have where you can go right down on the beach. And for the people that have the e-bikes with the fat tires, they can ride on the beach. And I got my wish there too, because sometimes I'll Google photos online and I'll kind of get ideas of what I love to shoot. And at Pismo Beach, they had horses going on the beach. And I thought, oh, that'd be so cool at sunset. And I got it.
So Grace, tell us about the darker side. You may want to go full screen.
The dark side. On the darker side, last October at the Big Sur State Campground, a camper, was killed by a falling tree limb. The victim's wife recently filed a lawsuit for negligence the state has not yet issued a comment. Well, Big Sur has had so many issues between the fire and between the mudslide.
Their slides, yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of that's closed down. I think Big Pfeiffer is the name of one of them.
Big Pfeiffer, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even tried to get there lately.
So it's I guess it caveat emptor, so when you're out these places, when we're a place where there's palm trees and they got those big coconuts overhead, it's like, I don't think I'm gonna stay right under them. So anyway, be safe when you're out there. There is like places where we were at. In fact, on the bike ride, you remember that one spot I was telling Grace, this is not a rails to trails, this is just a spot where they put in this. It's got too much uphill downhill for rails to trails. But there was, then again, part of it was flat and long, and there was one spot that it said, do not ride your bikes more than 10 miles an hour. And it's like, why? It's just straight. But it was about 10 feet wide, maybe not that, but on both sides it was like 100 feet downhill, and it was sloped at like more than a 70-degree angle. If you started, you would not be able to stop tumbling. It was almost like a cliff. Well, maybe Kaliki could have stopped himself. I don't know. But yeah, it's like you better be careful in some of these places there.
Another part of that trail, you do end up in the wash. So obviously, if there is a storm like there had been at Valley of Fire in the middle of the afternoon and it drops a bucket of rain, then that wash, if you're on your bike and you hit it just a certain way, that wouldn't be very well.
Yeah. Either slip or ice, it was an icy morning in some of the spots. Yeah. So
ice in Vegas is going to be kind of difficult. Well, maybe. Well, ice in Texas is kind of difficult.
Well, as they well know about the ice freezes. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Something new in television news. In RV TV news, competition, that is coming up against the RVers.
Competition for the RVers?
I know. They're great guys there. And so... any rate, I have both of their DVDs. I don't normally watch them on late night on Discovery Channel or whenever they come on. But this new one, RVing the USA, is going to be on Discovery Channel, another network, and they're going to do events, campground locations, and more that make up the world of RVing. The host will be the NBCSN host, Bill Stevens, and ESPN host Maria Prekagis. Also, what else are they going to have? There's more, but wait, there is more. They're going to include a DIY segment, cooking on the road, which everyone loves, as well as YouTubers Chad and Tara with their Changing Lanes YouTube channel. The show will be generated by motorsport producer Howard Lipkint and GMVP TV. So that's interesting.
I've seen Chad and Tara, and they're very intriguing. They'll be good.
Yeah.
Great hosts.
Yeah, some of those that what would you say at the Y generations, the millennials or even younger, Z generations, is that they get out there and that is their lifestyle, and it's one that a lot of people we love to watch vicariously. So I guess to have more channels, I mean, to me, that kind of shows is that this is an emerging part. So whether you're a YouTuber or just like to watch and live vicariously through other people, or just like we do to get ideas on what the smart money does and how to camp or goodies to have. Although Grace says no more goodies, Michael, you've got enough goodies.
Goodies take up space.
until she needs them. Tell us about my Canon 90D versus my Canon 5D Mark III.
My Canon 5D?
Oh, was it yours now?
Anyway, he let me try out the 90, and it is a iOS, so it's not a full frame sensor, but it was really great for walking around, and it does do HDR, which is usually my preference. We did do a little bit of stargazing. And on the stargazing, the 7D still was, with the full frame or the full sensor, was much more superior. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice toy.
Yes, it was. So yeah, it how can you say it? Sometimes you get by with one tool if that's all you have, and sometimes it's nice to be able to catch a ball from behind your back or, high dynamic range. Grace calls it HDR, and so if you know what that means, it gets more um, light range than you would otherwise. So, and then at nighttime, she wanted to get some of the stars, and it was beautiful because although we didn't think we wanted a campfire, the campfire at the Red Rock Canyon, it just lit up the red rocks at nighttime, and still didn't affect what we were trying to shoot in the stars. And so, a big sensor camera that can capture the light of the stars. Those things. It just depends on how much gear you want to carry, I guess, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Yeah, the campfire actually turned out to be fantastic. Let me see if I can get this to load correctly.
Okay. Yeah, I would love that if you can get it. And if any of you have any questions or anything, let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And so just when we were out there, it's like I normally do the videos. Grace normally does the photos, although sometimes, I've happened to say, oh, there's a good time for a pano. And Grace can use the iPhone and do a nice pano series as well. But if you have good lighting, then most any camera will do.
So there's the
There we
stargazing. I'll
go.
try to go into a full frame, but when I did it last time, I really...
That's it. That's it right there. If you don't touch it, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for some reason, it's just really difficult. Yeah, this time it worked perfect. Fantastic. That's okay. Nice.
So anyway, that was a wonderful evening we had. The weather was actually very accommodating. It was one night there was an evening wind, but most of the times it was not, and the temperatures were very comfortable there. We had some gloves, I guess, just in case. Yeah, our Siberian Husky, he would just as soon it be freezing every night, but we compromise with him.
Outside. He might have even spoken and howled for us. Well, honey, it looks like we've reached that hour point. So
we have.
We're going to be signing off.
Very good job, honey. And for everybody out there, if you've got any ideas, comments, and thanks for subscribing or just watching the show if you haven't. So as always, we look forward to your feedback, advice, and counsel as we go forward. But we've got at least 3 shows coming up on our last week trip that we just can't wait to share with you. So you should see those coming up in the next week.
Right. And if you haven't yet, make sure to hit the bell so you'll get notifications. I'm really excited to share with you the Valley of Fire. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And if you can't get there in person, I think we've got some great footage. So stay tuned.
Do you have any tips on where we're going to go next?
I'm thinking, we're over here in wine country, and everything is turning really green. The mustard's starting to come up. So we might just do some day trips, I think, over into the Napa. And we're going to see if we can take advantage of the harvest host and see if you can actually get a place to stay with them. So I think that's what we'll be trying.
Just do a quickie overnighter. And since we haven't used that yet, that would be good to go ahead and give a couple shorter trips. But we're kind of getting to like this around maybe 10 days or so trip. So one of these times when the weather starts cooperating, we want to start going north, right? Go to Oregon, right?
Definitely. I want to go to the national park, and for some reason it keeps escaping me lately, but it's got tons of wildflowers and water, and it'll be spectacular. So we definitely thank you guys for being here, because without you, we wouldn't be here. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
As always, happy trails to you until we meet again.
Happy trails.
Peace out. Bye for now. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Bye-bye.
I wanted to sign off early, honey, so I didn't sing. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.